This episode of The Couch is proudly supported by Crown and Andrews Board Games. Fun for the whole family. And Scoot Airlines. Get out of here with Scoot.
Hello Australia, welcome to episode 617 of The Couch, another big show. Today the bitching team is back talking news topics. We've also got Tamika Paverell performing for us. Later in the show, Caitlin Steele performs for us, both two young girls, under 15, so young talent on the show. We're also talking Bowel Cancer Awareness Month with Dr. Stephanie Brown. We'll talk to her very soon. Later we talk travel. We go down a luxurious train trip with Steve Collins, so stay tuned for that one. We're also talking Diabetes Research Week and much more. It's a big couch, and I didn't forget, but yes, we're giving away another chance for one home viewer to go to Singapore, flying Scoot with Pick Up the Phone. We call someone in Queensland today. So stick around, episode 617 starts now.
It's showtime on the couch. It's showtime on the couch. You can see it from your house. You can see it from your house. It's showtime on the couch with Fred and the best in town. Yeah, it's showtime on the couch. Oh.
Sit back, relax for the next hour. I hope you stay around and watch the whole show. Opening the show today, Tamika Paverell. She's a young girl, only 15 years of age. She's got a beautiful song called Play That Sax. Here she is, centre stage.
Give it to me. Woo! I met a boy last week trying to run the game. Made it sound so sweet when I say my name. I said, boy, stop, run it back. You can talk that talk, can you play that sax? I'm at boss last night, buying out the boss. I can ride top down in this Jaguar. I'm like, boy, stop, run it back. You can drive on up, can you play that sax? Baby, I've been waiting for the one who blow my mind. Right. Baby, you can get it if you got that thing I like. I need a stay up brother with a James Brown soul, the type of red hot love that got me freezing up. So you can go on and the way I play that track. And if you wanna hear me sing, you better play that sax. Give it to me. You better play that sax. Woo! Honey, he's so vain, he be loving himself, Mother Kim and yeah, I'm like, boy, stop, run it back. God damn, you fine, but can you play that sax? I'm this mad-ass dude, bitch, know it all. I think you got third down to his formula. I'm like, boy, stop, run it back. Big guy, can you play that sax? Baby, I've been waiting for the one who blow my mind. Alright, baby, you can get it if you got that thing I like. Fellas in suits smoking on cigars. Those pretty boys making all that noise, but they ain't gonna steal the show. No fancy cars or bass guitars. Fellas in suits smoking on cigars. Those pretty boys making all that noise, but they ain't gonna steal the show. Get loose, get right, get a grip and rock me all night. Hold tight, lean back, play what I want with that sax. Get loose, get right, get a grip and rock me all night. Hold tight, lean back, play what I want with that sax. I need to stay up brother with that James Brown soul, the type of red hot love that got me freezing cold. So you could go on like the way I play that track. Said if you wanna hear me sing, if you wanna hear me sing, if you wanna hear me sing, you better sex. Give it to me. Woo! Get loose, get right, get a grip and rock me all night. Hold tight, lean back, play what I want with that sex. Get loose, get right, get a grip and rock me all night. Hold tight, lean back, play what I want with that sex. Get loose, get right, get a grip and rock me all night. Hold tight, lean back, play what I want with that sex.
Thank you very much. Time for Bitchin', and let's introduce the panel today. Far right, we've got Chris Ilsley from 882 6PR Perth tonight. Welcome back.
Good evening, Fred. How are we?
Good. You've got a nice story to talk about today.
Oh, yes, sure have. I'll tell you
Beautiful.
more about that. Yes.
Jen Merrigan from Have a Go News. Welcome back.
Thank you.
You got a
Thanks
good
for
story
having me.
there. I see you've got a paper in front of you.
I have.
Wonderful. And as always, our travel guru.
Yes.
Mr.
Yes.
Steve
am I
Collins.
Ted tonight, am I?
Well, you are today. Everyone's taking a turn at being Ted. If he's
Okay,
away
I'll try
next
not
time.
to have so
Actually,
much personality then.
You're
that'll
Ted
be
tonight,
fine.
so clearly the deal for Ted was 2 for the price of 1.
Exactly right.
and you get a bit of extra time.
Thank you,
And we
yes.
turn off the other microphones when
Yes.
you talk.
Oh, yes, of course we will.
Welcome back.
Thank you.
What's your story today?
Well, I got a beauty. I mean, like fashion shows, I used to do sound and lighting at fashion shows. I could never understand why the models always look so glum as they walk down. Well, they've fixed the problem in Saudi Arabia. They had a fashion show in Jeddah, which is a big seaside resort in Saudi Arabia. And instead of having those poo-faced women doing it, they had drones and they hung the
Are you
the
serious?
garments under the drones and threw them around. And they looked very graceful. Yeah.
And this worked?
Well, I think it did. A lot of people have been complaining. They say, "Oh, it's sexist," you know. Yeah, but what it did was, because don't forget, in Saudi Arabia, it's very common for women to wear niqabs and all sorts of things.
So why would you have a women's fashion show?
Well,
you can't
this is
see
the
it
first.
anyway.
But this is the first women's fashion show they've had
With
ever,
no- with
and it's
no
because
women.
of the new prince that's trying to get more rights for women.
But what
Yes.
happens if
He's
it looks nice on the drone but doesn't look nice on the woman?
Well, look if you put my garb on a drone,
What
it
sort of
looks
drone would
fantastic,
you
but it doesn't
be?
look good on me.
But what sort of drone would represent the different shapes of bodies?
Well, no, it doesn't. No, because what they do is they hang it all from the drone, and it flies through, and it's very graceful and it flutters around.
They had a flying. I watched it just
Yeah.
before, and they had a flying handbag.
Yeah.
And it's a bit Harry Potter, really.
It's a bit Harry Potterish.
Yeah.
But
a
it means
female.
that you don't have to pay all those models.
Yes, no modelling, no
and
problems
and
with
what
weight.
you're doing is you're showing off the garments without those horrible looking women who have just got
You
these
know why
sour
those
faces.
women? You know why they're sour faced?
Why?
Because they don't eat.
Well, that's probably
Yes,
right.
but
They're
that
not allowed
eliminates
to.
that
why,
problem.
and you know why they don't eat?
Yep.
I actually had a conversation about this, and I said, this is crazy, you know, if you wanted to make someone look good, why wouldn't you have, you know, let's be
Yeah.
honest, nice boobs and bums in these dresses?
But they don't want boobs
no,
or
no.
bums.
That's what she told me. She said that what they actually want is a human clothes horse.
Yeah, that's what they want.
So
and,
it's like-
and they want women with basic with men's bodies almost.
Would you not
without
say?
curves.
Would you not say this is the perfect
women's
thing about
dresses.
taking the sex out of those talent shows?
I would think it would be.
Would you not think, Jet?
I
Do you
don't-
like the idea of
yeah.
not having
I
real
don't think in
female sex?
Saudi Arabia that sex is really that much of an issue. All that cleanliness, mate, reeks
Well, you-
of an unclean
Do you know
mind.
they've only just a week ago allowed women in Saudi Arabia to get driver's licenses?
licenses? That's right.
Yeah.
So it's a big move.
Well,
this
it's a
prince
very
must be doing.
segregated society,
It is.
so it seems odd that they're actually having a fashion parade at all.
Why would
Correct.
you segregate people from women? No wonder they're all so cranky over
I
it.
suppose the beauty of having a drone is that if you've beheaded one of your models, you can still show off the garment with best effect, can't you?
So there's no head.
No head?
No head in Saudi Arabia.
Nothing like that.
What did you think
Well,
of
unless
our
you
fashion show? I thought it was quite
some of
headless.
the guests in the fashion show with
Yeah.
the drone.
Oh, that'd be a great
Yeah.
idea. You could have one with extra big propellers.
Let's hope they don't. Let's hope this doesn't catch on to other fields like
No.
pole dancing and
Pole
those
dance,
special
I don't
bars
think
that
I'd
people
see
No,
do.
it.
that
Oh,
a drone
no,
pole
no,
dancing
no,
is
no,
quite
no,
going to be
no,
the
no,
same.
no,
Maybe a
no, work.
robot.
Could
Maybe
you
a
picture this
robot.
happening in one of those strip clubs?
Besides, the
No, no,
pole
you
will
do-
get in the way of the
You need
propeller.
one of those blow-up dolls for that one, I think.
Really?
Maybe a mechanical.
And where would we
Yeah,
get one of those?
Yeah, back
a
in
robot.
Yeah, robot. be
Sounds
good.
like an interesting story. Do you like the story? Do you think it's a good idea, Chris?
No.
He's rushing to Saudi Arabia to see.
No, oh yeah. Just
There's an
what you wanna
opening
do.
there.
See drones flying around with hijabs.
Oh, we're going to be great.
What about you, Jen? You like it?
No.
Would you be writing about it and have a go?
No.
No, and obviously we know where Steve thinks it's quite
And here's the
funny.
point: with the fashions, you wouldn't know if women were wearing them anyway.
No, it's sort of
Maybe you could have a competition
universal.
around that. Guess who's really underneath?
Universal. Jen, what have you got? I see you got your newspaper there. I thought you'd be doing some research. Or something.
Well, yes, I grabbed this story because I thought it was just absolutely amazing.
Who has real newspapers these days?
I love a real
I know, so do I,
newspaper.
but no-
Publishers are real news.
I
yeah,
know that's.
exactly.
Oh, what's it called again?
It's called Have a Go News.
There's the plug.
It is.
And it's a real newspaper.
HaveAGoNews.com.au.
There you go.
And it's a real newspaper. I picked this up because I just thought this was a really mean thing to do of the government.
Yes,
and,
agreed.
you know,
Which government? Federal or West Australian?
state government,
In
state
West
government
Australia.
in Western Australia.
what have they
so
done?
it's the Labor government. They've made, since they've come to power, we all know that the state was in, financial
straits.
difficulty, blah, blah, blah. But they seem to have gone round and if it was a project that was a bit of a pet project of the former government, choppy, choppy,
They
choppy.
destroy it, yeah.
Yes. So
Regardless of its merits.
exactly, regardless of its merits.
That'd
Now,
be right.
125,000 is not a lot in government speak.
Oh wow.
It's not
And
even
they are
changed for the
cutting.
cake machine.
They're cutting out the program that Wansley have been running for grand carers assistance package.
Grandparents, yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
grand carers. So the grandparents that have custody of their grandchildren.
Yeah.
And I just think it's
Are
absolutely.
you serious? They're actually cutting
Yeah.
They're
that out.
cutting
It
that
was
program.
such a great program.
125,000.
It's only cost
a year.
$125,000.
Isn't it? It shows you
mad
where
is
their,
that?
their priorities
Yeah,
are.
and Simone McKirk said that the government would pull its paltry $125,000 a year funding for this program at the end of the month. I think it's disgusting. These guys. I went and did a story with them about 2 years ago with the Grand Carers Association. They do an amazing job,
Well, the
and
thing
there's a lot more
It's a 24/7 job when you're
That's right.
looking at when you're a carer, all the time, and you need relief occasionally
That's right.
because. Every day you're confronted with whether it's your
do you
child
remember
or
when
your
they brought this
grandchild
in?
or whatever.
Do you remember when they brought this program in? It was
Yeah.
because grandparents are now becoming
That's
the
right.
carers because their kids have to go to work and you've got a lot of broken
That's
families.
exactly right.
And now they're destroying
there's
it.
problems with their
Mate,
Yeah, and
children.
do you know where most of these people come from? It's another problem the government creates anyway because it lets
Broken
druggies keep babies.
Yes.
Yeah.
And they end up with the grandparents when the grandparents look
Correct.
at their kids and go, my grandchild hasn't got any hope unless I get them away
Exactly,
from
and
the
that's,
druggy parent.
that's what I understood.
They should be
the
getting
program to
more
be.
money, and they
I
should
agree.
be getting more relief.
Yeah, of course they should.
I
It's like
thought
the
it was a great
NDIS.
program.
The NDIS has been is
political
very
football.
problematical these days because you get all this funding and it doesn't go anywhere near to covering your needs.
Yeah, look, I've heard in some cases they're very generous, and in some cases, like you've just said
Yeah.
with this program,
Well, that's
it's a great
unbelievable.
program that affects so many people. There was a birthing one
costs
as
so
well,
little.
birthing classes or something that they've cancelled
Yeah.
as well, and they only had a budget of 100,000 or
Yeah, well,
something.
see, that's nothing for the government.
And then
That's
at the
nothing.
bottom of this, there's an ad which probably costs, the campaign.
More than what the campaign is.
Yeah,
that
but
they're
you see,
doing for the children's
that's
hospital.
that's about them bragging, but you see, whereas they're complaining about the previous government, setting this up, but this actually was an initiative of the previous government.
Exactly.
I think it just shows you their priorities. All governments need to really look at themselves because the public these days punish governments. That's
do.
why you have so many independents and these useless parties that destroy everything.
Well, of course, we've got the Darling Range
Yep.
by-election coming up. We'll see what happens.
Well,
there.
you've got Russell Goodrick running for that one. We
Yes,
all
we
know
have.
Russell Goodrick.
Very
So he's running for that.
for Julie Matheson's mom.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, that should
So it'd be
be
interesting, but
huge.
yes.
Yes.
I wonder if they're going to do something about the GST.
Well, probably
that's
not.
the whole point.
That is what
But
that's
then
what they're
you
running
would-
about.
What's the point of running for
It will
the
never
state
happen.
government? if
This
you-
is- I went
It
through
will
this
never happen.
before
Nothing
at the
will
last
change.
state election, and they refused to understand
Yeah.
something pretty basic. The
If you're running
state
for the
government
federal-
cannot touch the GST
Correct.
You're running
because
for
it's
the
a federal
federal
tax.
Fine,
Exactly.
no problem.
Chris, let's go to you. You've got 4 minutes, so there's plenty
yes.
of time to talk about your lovely pet hate.
Yes, how to detect and avoid online scams. I caught a scammer out on 6PR this week.
People can hear this
Yeah,
online.
go to 6PR Perth Tonight on Facebook. You can like that, but you can also have a listen. We caught this scammer out. He told us he was in a building that happens to be vacant and is advertised as being
Well, he
vacant.
might have been the only one there.
No, he was
No.
a squatter, I suspect.
squatter, yeah.
yes. But it seems everything from Telstra, the NBN, Microsoft. Of course, Microsoft has been around for a while. Actually, I had a friend. They phoned up and they said that they were from the tax office, and he had this huge tax debt, and if he didn't pay it, he would be facing corporal punishment. And he said,
punishment.
"Corporal punishment? I demand to be whipped."
But what is it? Why have we got so many of these scams happening? Why are there more and more?
Because
They can.
they
work.
do it. It works. They do it overseas, and
They
don't
sit,
forget.
they sit in a room in India and a computer dials up your number. And
But how lucky were they to get you,
get
Chris?
some gullible person.
It cost them nothing to do it, but
What
here,
were they? What was the scam they were trying to do?
no car accident.
Oh.
That was a car accident.
But I love
scam.
what you said. You haven't even identified me. So, and they're telling Chris, "Oh no, you don't have to pay anything. You're not responsible." And Chris said, "But you don't even know who I am." Haven't you?" And this is how he caught them out. And the guy's going, "Oh, okay."
Then I
But
asked him,
they were so up front. They just
They didn't care. And Chris says, "Oh, you're actually talking on radio now, live on air," and he didn't care.
No.
This is because they know tomorrow they'll start with somebody else.
yeah, that's right. But
How do we stop them, Chris? How do we stop these scams? I know we've all had them.
I've thought for a long time we should go to countries like India and say, get rid of these people, or we're going to stop your communications coming into our country.
Yeah, that's
I
what you
actually
should do.
agree with
That's
that.
the only way
I
to do
think the
it.
government should not allow.
The Indian government would do it too.
Yeah, they shouldn't be allowed to use an Australian phone number to patch their calls through. Because what they do, they reroute their calls. Because when you get a call, it comes up 08.
Well, the number we had here was a local number.
Yeah, correct.
And once again, why don't they take the same approach with VoIP and other numbers that they take with prepaid mobiles? They must be identified to an individual. So if somebody uses a number that you've got and they use it to make scam calls, so the cops can go around and go, excuse me.
Yep.
We get them when we get them on our phone. We actually put them down as scam
Yep.
number,
Yeah.
and we've got 8 of them on our phone. 8 scam.
I had one
Because I
guy
use
that
them all
rang
the-
me from
all the-
3M Mobile,
Yeah.
and I said to him, "I'm on the do not call register." He said, "We know, but they didn't call you. Somebody else is now calling you." And I said, "Do not call doesn't mean you can't call me. Your whole company." And then I got his number, and I actually rang him back about 9 times. And after the 9th time, he goes, "I get your point. He goes, what would you like me to do?" I said, "Remove every single Australian number from your call." And he goes, "Well, never call you again," and they haven't called me since. But I think these scam callers are becoming more and more. I think people should know they happen after 7 o'clock, usually at night.
And
3:30 every day we get one.
They're,
3:30 every day.
they're evolving. I think they're like, I don't know, I liken them to cockroaches getting more resistant to insecticide.
Yeah.
They're kind of learning from the experience.
I just hate the way they pressure elderly people. They
Yes. Well,
threaten
that's what they're-
people,
that's what
they
they're
scare
targeting,
people.
aren't they?
Let me tell you, the taxation office Centrelink would never ever ring you over the phone. They have to send you a letter,
Yes.
and it has to be in writing.
And they have to go through a whole set of
Correct.
procedures.
They will
Yeah.
never ring you demanding you money or telling you
or
amounts that you owe.
threatening you
Yeah.
at
With
all.
corporal
They don't
punishment.
do that.
Yes.
That's a
corporal
different number.
Oh, it was so.
Oh.
Yeah.
You will face corporal punishment. Oh, beauty!
What nut of the week are you?
Now-
I could have worn my leather gear today.
Oh dear.
Yes.
On
And you
that
can
note,
keep
I
up
think
to
it's time
date
for us
with
to
all
wrap
the
up.
scams
Who's this on the
Scam
phone?
Watch.
Oh, it's Madam Lash.
I would accept that call.
Chris Silsley from Perth Tonight. Catch him every night from 8 to midnight on 6PR or listen live online, 6pr.com.au. Thank you very much for coming in.
Thank you very much. for
Jen
having me.
Merrigan from haveagonews.com.au. New edition out now.
Yes.
Beautiful.
Oh, bloody good story in there about travelling across America by rail. Really good.
Fantastic
Really
story.
good
And
story.
of course, talking about travel, Steve Collins will be back talking about a luxurious train trip after the break.
Yeah.
Thank you guys for being on the show today, and thank you for watching. We'll catch up after the break with Steve Collins talking travel. See you then. Welcome back to the couch. It's that time that I love the most, is when we give away 2 tickets on Scoot to Singapore. We've got a home contestant today. Her name is, or his name, it could be him or her, Garnet Radford from Tamborine Mountain in Queensland. Ben, let's dial the number. We're going to give them 5 rings to answer the phone. Now, if they pick up the phone, they're going to win a ticket for 2 flying Scoot to Singapore. That's 1. That's 2. That's 3. That's 4. That's 5. Hello?
Hello?
Hello, is that Garnet?
Yes, it is. Who's this?
Garnet, it's Fred Mafrica from Foxtel, the TV show called The Couch. You entered a competition to win a Scoot trip. I'm hoping it was you, because we've got your phone number. Do you know the show The Couch that goes to air on Foxtel?
Yeah, I do, yeah.
Yes, well,
Okay.
if you're Garnet Radford, I don't care how you watch The Couch, as long as you watch it and you entered the competition, you're our winner today.
Okay.
Have you been to Singapore before?
I've been to KL, but I haven't been to Singapore.
Well, who are you going to take with you on this wonderful trip?
Oh, I hadn't even thought about it.
Well, I tell you what, you're going to have to think about it. You've still got a bit of time. Congratulations. Thanks to Scoot Airlines. We're flying you and somebody else, a friend, partner, lover, or anybody else that you wish to take with you. 2 of you, it'll include your seats, your luggage and your food. You'll fly the Dreamliner, which is an amazing, luxurious plane. And, of course, it's on Scoot.
That's fantastic.
And you're obviously very excited to go. Where are you from? I notice an accent.
Yeah, I'm originally Canadian. I've been here been in Australia for 18 years.
Yeah, and what do you do up in Queensland? Because Tamborine Mountain is supposed to be a beautiful place.
Yeah, we've been here for about 2.5 years, about 16 on the Gold Coast and Tamborine Mountain area. Mm-hmm. And I worked for probably about 13 years in economic development and on the Gold Coast and then Logan City Council. And right now I'm just working as I guess partly as a managing director for an investment company out of Vancouver. So
fantastic. Well, I'm glad you watched The Couch on Foxtel, and I'm glad you entered the competition. You're going to Singapore. Thank you very much for being part of it, and we'll be in touch in the next couple of days. We'll send you an email or SMS, and then we'll organise your tickets.
That's insane.
Have a wonderful Sunday.
All right. Thank you for making my Sunday.
You're very welcome. Thanks. Bye-bye. Thanks, Garnet.
Bye.
Now, there you go. See how easy it is. All you have to do is pick up the phone, and we've got 10 amazing locations for you to go to, or 10 amazing locations that you can win. But it is fantastic. Thanks to Scoot. If you want to be part of the competition, all you have to do, just like Garnet, send the code word, which is Scoot. You saw it on the screen. Scoot will always be the code word. Your name and address needs to go on that sheet, whether you send it on an SMS or an email. You can send it to 0439 929 929, 0439 929 929, or you can send us an email, which is at scoot@thecouch.com.au. And if you missed any of those details, just contact us and we'll give you all the details. Or watch the show again on Facebook and you'll get all the details. Thank you to Scoot, and thanks for being a wonderful partner for that competition. Talking travel.
Yes, Scoot.
Steve,
Great
how good
airline,
is that?
isn't it? Yes.
We've flown it. It's amazing, isn't it?
Yes, have several times.
And I think Garnet is going to be impressed with the luxurious seats and
Yeah,
the Dreamliner is just a different sort of plane, aren't
It's
they?
just a wonderful way to fly on the Dreamliner.
But you know what?
Yep.
You've been on an amazing train.
Yes, yeah. I was on a train, a luxury train journey through South Africa. Mm-hmm. It's called Rovos Rail, and I'm going to talk about the guy that developed it later on, the owner and developer, because he's just a very inspiring man. But Rovos Rail, it's got several train journeys. The one I did was from Cape Town to Pretoria, so the very sort of bottom of South Africa up to Pretoria is the capital. It's quite close to Johannesburg, and it's just the most amazing train. It is a luxury train. It's a tourist train, and you're pampered from the moment you get on. That's it. You go there. This is the waiting room. You get your champagne and your canapes, and then you're walked across to your own carriage at Cape Town Station. Beautiful carriages these. They build them themselves. That is my little stateroom. As you can see, it's quite luxurious.
Your little
It's
stateroom.
well, anything compared to me is little, but no, it was lovely. This is what the last carriage, because part of it's a lounge carriage and it's open air. This is the dining carriage. Oh, the food on this train journey is absolutely
It looks
brilliant.
beautiful.
And there we go, you see. And the thing I like about that last carriage is there's no windows there, and you sit there. This is another lounge carriage.
It's
very
all air
luxurious.
conditioned, I'm assuming.
It's all air conditioned apart from the last bit,
Yep,
which
yep,
is
it's
open.
open.
But if you're a photographer, it's ideal because you're not shooting through glass.
What are the benefits of going on this? Why would I go on this train compared to taking a car or a different
Well,
mode?
for a starter, you don't have to drive, but you're being pampered the whole way. You don't travel the whole time. It stops several times.
So you do have a few stops.
Yeah, well, they've got to change. They've got to change locomotives and stuff like that, and you do sightseeing as well. But the scenery is terrific. South Africa is a beautiful country.
How long were you on the train?
I was on their train for 2 nights. This is some of the scenery that we passed. We left late morning, and we had 2 nights on the train, and we got into Pretoria about midday a couple of days later. A lot of this is the Karoo, it's called, this
Beautiful
central
scenery.
part of Africa. It's very much like crossing the Nullarbor Plain,
It's beautiful.
except that you have mountains and stuff like that.
And
Oh, this is
green.
down in the wine region near Cape Town. Beautiful wines in South Africa. But you can see the colours at sunset. It's
beautiful.
just a beautiful, beautiful trip.
Was it comfortable?
Oh, very comfortable.
You know, trains
yeah.
tend to move a lot.
No, it's a very, very smooth ride. But it is built for comfort. This is sunset.
Oh, that's incredible.
Beautiful lake.
Beautiful.
And then the next shot we have are all these flamingos. There's tens of thousands, possibly hundreds of thousands of these flamingos.
I'm assuming
in
this is a
huge
stop
lake.
that you did.
No, we stopped just before there
Yeah.
at a little town because we had to have an hour because they've got to refuel and re-water and
Get
everything.
the train
but the service there is fantastic.
What's the food like for someone
The
that's
food is absolutely brilliant.
good variety?
Yeah, wonderful. Oh, this is one of the stops you do. You do sightseeing tours, and this was at Kimberley, which is the diamond capital of the world. And this is at the old diamond mine, the original diamond mine. They've got a little village, township they've set up, and this is where you walk up to to overlook what they call the big hole, and there
Oh,
it is,
wow.
and it's an immense. It's not the biggest hole there. They had much bigger holes than this, but it's just an amazing, and that's the town of Kimberley. It's quite a rich town because of the amount of diamonds there. This is downstairs, and this is down in the mine shafts itself, and you just go there, and this is a museum they have there. But you see a lot of the original diamonds and the different cuts of diamonds. It's just beautiful. But I'll getting back to the meals. You have a very good breakfast. You have lunch. You have dinner. The dinner lasts 2 hours. It's about 4 courses.
Plenty of time.
All your drinks are included. All your food is included, and your drinks. And during the day, you go and sit in the lounge car and you can drink. Or if after the meal, you can go to a lounge car and have
So
cocktails.
You were on
etc.
there for 2 days.
2 days.
If someone wants to do a longer trip, can you do different
Yes,
lengths?
you can.
Ah.
They've got an enormous number of trips. They've got some that go into Namibia. They've got some that go up through Mozambique and into Zimbabwe to the falls there, Victoria Falls. They've got others that go right up into Tanzania to Dar es Salaam. They've got several that go through South Africa, which are golfing tours. So if you're a golfer, every day you stop and you play a game of golf. There's so many different itineraries. It's
It
fantastic.
looks like an amazing trip, a luxurious train. And for someone like me that doesn't do cruises very
No.
well, I get seasick,
Yeah.
it might be a different alternative. and
It's
a good
certainly a
holiday.
different. It's like cruising on rails, really, because it's that same sort of thing. You're getting your luxury accommodation. It's very comfortable because your room has its own bathroom, etc. And then you go out and you enjoy the journey. You can sit in the lounge car or go to the back of the train or sit in your
you've got
room
something
and watch
to do
it.
all day.
But I want to talk about Rowan Voss. Rowan Voss is the guy that started this thing, and he started it back in 1984, and he's built it up That's Rowan here.
Oh,
he
wow.
is an inspiring guy. That's the worst photo of me I could possibly find.
You look happy.
Well,
have been
I was.
after
I
that
just got
2-hour
off
meal.
because I got a private tour. Rowan gave me a private tour of his facilities at Pretoria. He's got his own station. He's got his own workshops. They build their own carriages. They get their own locomotives. They've just bought 8 locomotives from West Australia because the gauge is 3'6", which is the same as West Australia, and they're doing them up because he wants to run his own trains. Now, to get on to Rovos Rail, Rail Plus is the Australian agent for them. railplus.com.au is the website to go to. Have a look at the itineraries. Oh, they're breathtaking. But I have to tell you what, I love my trains. This is one of the best train journeys I've ever seen. You see the best of South Africa. It is extraordinary. You're treated royally on this train, and it's one of those train trips that you just don't want to end because you're enjoying it so much.
It looked amazing. Now I know you went to South Africa for 3 weeks.
Yep.
Is there any more on the South Africa?
We'll do some more South Africa in a couple of weeks because I went to so many places.
I'm looking forward to it.
Oh, yes.
Steve, your website, if people want to find out more information.
Yes, Steve Collins, travelcorrespondent.com. I don't need an AU. I'm international.
You're international. .com, eh? There it is on screen.
I'm a .com. You're
Thank
a
you.
.com.au, aren't you?
I am.
Oh,
what a show off.
It
And you got
is.
to go on that wonderful train as well. Looks good. Thank you very much. We'll see, of course, Steve, in a couple of weeks' time with more travel. It is Bowel Cancer Awareness Month, 1st to the 30th of June. Check out this promo and then Nisha will talk to a special guest.
So when it comes to keeping people alive, who gets all the credit? The heart. Pump, 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 pump. What else does it do? Nothing. I tell you what I do. I take the trash out every day, sometimes twice. And what's the cherry on top of that crap Sunday that's my life? I'm the home of Australia's second deadliest cancer. Aren't I? Hello? No. No one's even listening.
We're very pleased to have on the couch with us another representative from Bowel Cancer Australia. Welcome to the show, Stephanie. Stephanie is our Marketing and Publicity Manager. How are you today?
I'm fabulous, thank you, Nisha.
Thank you so much for joining us. Now, I understand, Stephanie, you've got a real passion, and that passion comes from a personal experience that you've had yourself.
Yes, I'm a stage 3 bowel cancer survivor. I was diagnosed in 2012 with bowel cancer, and it is a passion of mine to put bowel cancer on the map a little, so to speak, and get people talking about it.
Well, that's fantastic, Stephanie. We know that it's Bowel Cancer Awareness Month this month, so there's a number of, campaigns and insights and education awareness, promotions. Can you tell us a little bit about how you've got involved in driving those in the community?
Yes, well, Bowel Cancer Awareness Month in June is an initiative that's been going now. It was a week and we've taken it to a month for probably 4 or 5 years. And what we've found, or when I was diagnosed, I found that I knew about other diseases. I knew about breast cancer and having my breast checked and having pap smears, but I didn't know about bowel cancer. And so we've really tried to focus this year on developing a campaign that speaks to a very broad audience, because bowel cancer is perceived as an old man's disease, and everyone says, even doctors, some of them, I will forget about this until I get older. It's not going to be me. But we have developed a campaign that really talks to a broad audience. It's using humour, but it's talking about a very serious topic. And we've obviously used the wonderful voice of Bill Bailey.
Wonderful. And I think, the signs and symptoms we heard last week from another one of your representatives can go quite sort of undetected as well. So in your experience, do you mind sharing with us how important it was for you to be able to, I guess, go on this journey and work through it and be a survivor that you are now?
Yes, absolutely. Look, I presented with very symptoms that a lot of people have, but I ignored them. Well, I didn't actually ignore them. I went to the doctor and said, I had blood in my stool. And I went to the doctor and I said to them, look, I've got blood in my stool, I've got irregular bowel movements, is there anything in that? She said, oh no, it's probably just hemorrhoids. And it wasn't the doctor that I usually saw, it was a different doctor. And so off I went on my merry way. And it wasn't until probably 8-9 months later I was still experiencing those symptoms. And my sister, who's a genetic counsellor, urged me to go and have a colonoscopy because she had seen some of these things go quite awry. And the fact that I'd just had a child, and those symptoms, looking back on it, were very evident that I had bowel cancer or had the start of what presented, maybe polyps. So blood in the stool is one. Irregular bowel movements. Feeling, just having difference, it might be gas or bloated. So you can go to bowelcanceraustralia.org and check those symptoms. But blood in your stool is a major symptom that we must not ignore.
Wonderful. And I think the proactivity there, I hear, is extremely important, and also getting a second opinion if you're unsure or your symptoms persist. Would you agree?
Oh, absolutely. Look, if I hadn't have gone and had the colonoscopy when my sister told me to, I would not be standing here today talking to you. That is the reality. I would be dead. And that is not dramatising it. That would be the reality, because I was that far gone that it was through to my nose. So I went and sought a second opinion, and I trusted my instinct. I knew something wasn't right, but I perhaps didn't act on that quick enough. So I would, if you think there's something the matter, then go and seek a second opinion or ask your doctor. What I'd also say is, for the doctors out there too, is don't discard young women or young men for that matter and say they're too young. We need to disprove it's not bowel cancer before putting bowel cancer, pardon the pun, at the back end of the diagnosis. We really should start disproving bowel cancer first and taking it seriously.
Thank you, Stephanie. Some really meaningful and good insights there as well. And thank you for your courage as well to talk so openly about your personal story, because genuinely believe it's going to help a lot of our audience out there be a bit more proactive.
Oh, well, if I can help one person go and have a test and save them from going through what I went through, then it's all worth it.
Wonderful. Stephanie, we would like to talk to you more in the near future, hopefully, but we're running a little bit out of time. So do you mind letting us know where to go to find out more information?
Yes, go to bowelcanceraustralia.org, and we have a lot of fantastic information there, including symptoms. If you've got bowel cancer, if you need support peer-to-peer, there's some wonderful array of advice that could help you.
Wonderful. Stephanie, thank you so much for joining us. We look forward to speaking with you again, and great work in your marketing role at Bowel Cancer Australia as well.
Thank you so much, Nisha. Thank you for having me.
Absolute pleasure. Now, if you've missed any of that information at all, please go to thecouch.com.au as well, our Facebook page, and we'll have all the valuable links there as well. But for now, it's back to you, Fred.
Thank you, Nisha. And of course, that it is Bowel Cancer Awareness Month from the 1st to the 30th, so please go on that website and get more information just to educate yourself, if nothing else. We'll take a quick break. We're back with more after this. We're talking diabetes next. See you then. Welcome back to The Couch. I've always wanted to be part of the United Nations. I thought I had the right fit for the job, but Nisha jumped in on it, as she always does. But she's here today to talk to a couple of lovely ladies from the United Nations Association of Australia. Here's Nisha. Back to you there, Nisha. Have fun.
Thank you, Fred. And it is with great, immense pleasure that today I do have two Executive Committee members from the United Nations Association of Australia Young Professionals. Welcome to The Couch, Mimi Mutombo and Gurlane Bingwa.
Thank you, Nisha. Thanks for having us.
Now, these lovely ladies volunteer a lot of their time and professional skill set to ensure that our WA community know all about the United Nations. I might start off with you, Mimi. Tell me why you joined the United Nations and what inspires you to stay involved.
Well, I've always had a keen interest and desire in helping out with the disadvantaged, maintaining peace, making sure that those who don't have a voice get one. I'm passionate about cultural inclusion and equality, and the young professionals offered that platform. I was very keen on joining because we would interact with like-minded professionals and also offer tools to everyone else on, what the UN does and how we can utilize that in our different fields.
That's wonderful, and I can see the excitement as you speak, and Ghislaine's nodding away. So why did you join? Similar reasons or a few different ones as well?
Very similar. So I work in local government, and it's really important for me to... sorry.
No, you've got a lot of passion. Ghislaine is also an executive member of the Local Government Young Professionals Association. And I know that when you joined us, being the state lead here, that you were so passionate, you've done so much work. So you've got a strong governance background.
Yeah.
What else is it about the UNAA, I guess, that grabbed you? Because obviously I've tried to steal you from other associations too. What else has grabbed you about us?
Well, I think for me what really resonated were the Sustainable Development Goals, and what I really loved this time round was that they're universal in ending poverty, protecting the environment, and also just espousing peace and prosperity. And I thought joining the UNA Young Professionals, that would be a fantastic way to do more of that.
Absolutely. It's this corporate social responsibility, isn't it, that the Global Compact has assisted with, the UN Global Compact, but now the SDGs are paving the way for all professionals to get involved at a certain level. Now, we do have a number of events that we have every year. Can you tell us about what your favourite event last year was, Mimi, and I guess what it focused on?
It would have to be the event that we hosted alongside the Red Cross.
I remember that one.
Yeah, that was one of my best. We highlighted on refugee plight.
Yeah, and it's really passionate. There's a lot of people looking at us here, so we're looking everywhere. So refugee, why is that close to your heart?
Well, personally, I don't come from Eastern Africa, but I do have a lot of friends from there, a lot of friends who lived in refugee camps, and, just the journey that they go through, the kind of life they live, and everything that they have to give up. That's really something that I am passionate about, and just making sure that, people get all the rights that they deserve, which is what the UN is all about, human rights for all.
Wonderful. And as a young professional, we all work 40-hour weeks sometimes. What keeps you engaged? Alongside Mimi's talked about her passion. What keeps you engaged, Ghislaine?
Well, I come from Zimbabwe originally, and we've got a philosophy called UNU, which is about I am, therefore we are. And I think for me that's exactly what this is about. So it's meeting like-minded professionals and sharing what's possible, giving hope, and also a bit of professional development as well.
Wonderful. So if you're hearing all of that and feeling inspired, if you're a young professional and you're looking to, I guess, become a bit of a global citizen, be fair to say, do please look us up on unaa.org.au. We have quite a few events throughout the year. But importantly as well, the United Nations Association of Australia is a large group in Australia. We form a part of the World Federation of United Nations Associations and have a consultative status and a seat within the United Nations building there in New York. So ladies, I'm so thankful for you coming on the segment today. It'll be the first of many. Just before we go though, Mimi first, would you like to look down the barrel and I guess let any young professionals who want to join know why they should join?
First of all, if you have an interest or are passionate about human rights, you definitely need to join. I would say specifically for young professionals, we offer, or for this year, we'll start offering mentoring programs. And it's also an opportunity to network with like-minded professionals. So that would be a good reason to join.
Wonderful. Thanks, Mimi. And Ghislaine, quickly yourself, how would you sell us?
Well, I think it is a fantastic opportunity and an opportunity for hope, meeting like-minded people, but also learning about what's possible and also being a part of the future generation. So we'd love to see more of you along at the events.
Wonderful. Thank you, ladies, for joining us, and we look forward to having you on the couch again very soon.
Thank you, Nisha.
Pleasure. So we are the peoples. Please come join us, una.org.au. If you've missed anything there, you can go to thecouch.com.au, our Facebook page as well. But for now, it's back to you, Fred.
Thank you very much. Just before, Ghislaine, can I ask you that saying again? Could I use it in as saying like, I am the producer, therefore I am the boss?
I don't think
Is that how you do it?
I don't think it's the same thing.
Oh, okay, so I won't be joining the United Nations very soon. Looks like Nisha's pretty secure. Thank you very much. You do a wonderful job. And thank you, Nisha, for always looking like a United Nations person. I'm always scared when Nisha's in her UN sort of hat. I have to be on best behaviour. Someone that's not on best behaviour is our next guest. His name is Roger Averill. Good afternoon, Roger, and thanks for being on the show.
G'day, Fred. Yeah, thanks for having me.
You've got the brand new book called Relatively Famous. That's pretty much my life story.
Ah, yes.
Tell me about your book, Roger. What's it all about?
Well, it's a novel, and it's got actually two kind of narrative strands going through it. One is excerpts from a biography of the famous expat Australian author, a fictional author called Gilbert Madigan, and that biography is written by Sinclair Hughes, and the rest of the other narrative is written by Gilbert's son, Michael, and it's kind of his account of his father's life and his own life. At one point he says something like, I'm writing about my father's life to make sense of my own, and really it's about Michael's lifelong struggle to live in the shadow of his famous old man. And that's one of the themes. So he doesn't really envy his father's fame as such, but he envies his father's vocation.
I'm assuming that's where the title "Relatively Famous" comes from. It's about the son.
That's the one, yeah. And I guess it's also the fame is a bit relative because Gilbert was of the generation who sort of in the 1950s and 60s, where the book was a little more central to the culture. And being a famous novelist meant a bit more than it does now. So many people like myself get published nowadays. It's become a much more common thing.
So I know you said the book's a fictional story, but tell me who you based it on. Where did you do your research?
Well, it isn't based on any specific research or writer. I mean, it's a lifelong research of just reading a lot of novels and a lot of literary biographies. But no, the character of Gilbert Madigan is pretty much his own, though he is of that generation. The Robert Hughes, Germaine Greer characters who all left Australia in the late 50s, early 60s in order to.
Who would you say would be your target audience? Who's this book directly addressing?
Well, it's directly addressing anyone who wants to think about what it means to live a good life, which is really the challenge that Michael's facing in trying to avoid his father's bad behaviour, because his dad sort of neglected him and abandoned him when he was a child and pursued his own ends. Michael's trying to work out how to do things differently, and he makes his own, of course, like all of us, makes his own mistakes along the way. So it's about people. It's directed to people who are interested in that age-old question of what makes a good life, and fame being one of the very common answers nowadays, and it's kind of suggesting some other things.
Do you think it would inspire young people or people over the age of 25? It sounds like an inspirational book about doing what you dream about and doing it well and being happy in life. Who do you think it's more for the younger audience or over 25?
I wouldn't limit it. I mean, I've had people of all generations say that they take a lot from it. So, yeah, look, it's probably in some ways more directed at older people who grew up in that atmosphere of
being the shadow of
the famous, the famous novelist left the country and all that. But for young people, that's something novel and different that they might enjoy reading about.
Roger, tell us a little bit about yourself as the author. You've written other books, I'm assuming, and tell me a little bit about your life.
Yeah, well, my life certainly, I don't fit the Gilbert Madigan profile, not terribly famous, but it is my fourth book that I've had published. The first was a travel memoir, about a year I spent with my wife, who's an anthropologist. We lived on a tiny island off the southeastern tip of Papua New Guinea. And so that was about that. And I've published another novel and also a biography. So, I'm been a writer for all of my adult life.
Fantastic.
I do share that with Gilbert Madigan. That it has been the thing that's given my life a kind of through line, having a vocation.
Sounds fantastic. Now, I'm saying to everybody
out
out there, if they want to be inspired, if they've ever felt like they were in the shadow of somebody else, blocking them from achieving, this book's for you. It's called Relatively Famous. It's out right now, isn't it, Roger?
Yeah, it certainly is.
It's available
All good
now?
bookshops, as they say.
All good shops.
And online, of
Yes,
course.
you can get it from booktopia.com.au if you're keen to get it right now. Booktopia.com.au. Thank you very much, Roger. Is there another book coming?
No worries. Yeah. I'm starting to think of the next one now. Yeah,
Look forward
that's
to
on the
it.
way.
Well, good luck
Okay.
with this one and good luck with your next, and we'll talk to you very soon. And hope you have all the best of success with the book.
Thanks, Fred.
Well
Thanks for your
done.
help. Bye.
That was Roger Averill, of course, the author of the book Relatively Famous. We have got some to give away. We'll give those away on our website. And we'll be back after the break talking diabetes with Nisha again. See you soon. Well, welcome back to the couch. It's time to talk diabetes, and of course, Diabetes Month is coming up in July. And with us today is my good friend Shaw Westland, and with her is my other good friend from the United Nations, Nisha Seth.
Lovely, thank you for that nice introduction, Fred.
I'm often called Miss United Nations, so we can just join together.
Yeah, excellent. That sounds good. It's a great cause. Yeah. So, Shaw, welcome back to the couch.
Great to be here.
You're the Executive Director of Diabetes Research Western Australia, and you're here to talk about some really important events that are coming up.
Yeah. We've got a really fantastic expo coming up in July where we really get to understand what's happening in research. So we've discovered that, and you only have to watch, you go to presentations and researchers get up and they present their findings via PowerPoint or something and everybody nods off and it's just really boring. So this time I've just really changed that around a bit. I'm going to get a couple of couches, a bit like this, throw it on the stage and
Fred's
get our...
been an inspiration.
Yeah, you are. See, you're my inspiration.
We call it copyright.
Oh, hang on. No,
Unless you
not gonna do
rent
that.
my couch, and then I could rent it to you very cheaply.
I don't know about that one.
I'll give it to you for free.
But I'm going to get some of the researchers, sit them down and really talk through what are they doing, what difference does it make to somebody, why should I care? Because a lot of the time it's sort of, research takes ages to translate.
Yes.
So why should I even care? You know, people keep saying, oh, it's going to take ages. So this is the way for them to showcase themselves, but have a really good conversation.
Yeah, wonderful. And so the education and awareness is a big component of the expo.
Yeah.
As a participant coming to the expo, what's my experience going to be like? What should I expect?
Yeah, lots of engagement, lots of learning, as well as hands-on discussing stuff with the researchers, so get to meet them, meet some of our board members. And we've got some great board members now that live with type 1, that also live some really fulfilling lives. We've got one guy who's a dirt bike rider and a surfer. And so he's really hands-on. So it's that sort of a bit of a can-do attitude. Yeah. But we're going to do a few little experiments. So we've got a guy coming along who we've funded his research into an eye camera. He works for the CSIRO, Yogi Kanagasingam is his name. And this camera, we're hoping to have that installed in a GP's clinic where you can have your eyes tested right then and there. Is there any danger or is there any changes happening to my eyes? And therefore you can then go off to see the ophthalmologist rather than waiting for 8 or 9 months or weeks or whatever to go and see them.
When symptoms can develop further.
That's right. Yeah, and lots of people don't go to that appointment. They kind of it's too hard, they forget, all that kind of stuff, as well as it just takes a long time. So he's going to bring his camera.
Great.
And we're going to do some eye testing. We're going to check people's blood glucose levels. We're going to have some healthy foods. With just a bit of an experience more than anything, like hands-on, and launch a few other little programs and exciting stuff. So
fantastic!
Yeah.
It sounds very interactive.
Yeah, that's it.
And I think with the prevalence of diabetes, it's quite important that the wider community attends. So who are you targeting, or are you just targeting generally the population to come and attend?
Well, I think initially it would be people living with diabetes or have somebody in the family or a child, but also that community, that solid community around. So that's going out to workplaces as well as schools or all those kinds of stuff. It is school holidays, so we can get a few teachers along.
Yes.
Anybody interested in eyes and all that kind of stuff. We've also got another guy who's going to be talking about post-kidney transplant diabetes, because people that have a kidney transplant have an increased risk of developing diabetes, quite a significant increased risk. So he's been trialling some new drugs that prevent that from happening. So, and he's a really nice young guy, really enthusiastic. Yes, that'll be really good. It's going to be great.
Yeah. I really like the way you're having an innovative approach to this expo. I think, you know, getting it out in another medium is important. Now, what else will be happening for Diabetes Research Western Australia? Because I know you're very busy. You've got a busy agenda. So what else is happening?
Yeah, we've got lots of new little fundraising things. There's something I'll talk about in a minute, which is just a request to overhaul some bits and pieces. But what we're finding is that we're getting lots of people wanting to do small little fundraising activities. One guy's doing an Ironman, somebody else is doing a bit of a cook-off in there.
Cook-off, I like the sound.
Yeah, yeah, I thought that might tweak your interest in his restaurant, and they're going to join with us. Oh, taste tester. Okay, put you on the list. We've had people that are just doing walks, all sorts of different things. So it's really, you know, it's just limited by your imagination of how you can raise funds for research now, which is fantastic. Now, the other thing that I wanted to just mention is that we're really calling on places that have canteens and kiosks to really think about healthy foods and what they're serving up, and just some really good strategies to look at. So, and that's the traffic light sort of idea that, you know, the bad foods or unhealthy foods, I should say, are in the red zone. So we don't go into the red zone, we stay away from the red zone.
Have a little bit, not much?
Not much.
Or none?
Oh, yeah,
None.
only a tiny bit.
Okay.
But we sort of try and eat in the green and the amber zone.
Sure.
So it's sort of, you can just say eat healthily, or you can say replace your foods in the canteen. But if you don't have a process, how are you going to do that? And there's been a trial in Victoria where they actually they found that there's been no drop in funds raised or business takings when they've introduced it.
Sure, and there has to be a return on investment component of that as well.
That's right.
You know what, it'll be fantastic to get you on the show to talk about it from a business sustainability perspective as well. Unfortunately, we always run out of time. There's so much important things
and I go like,
no, look, it's really meaningful and insightful and important information you're providing, Cheryl. Thank you so much for coming on the
You're
couch.
welcome. It was great. It's always great to be here. Thanks, Brad.
We always have a lot of fun. For the audience, where can they go to find out more about the expo and all of your campaigns?
Diabetesresearch.wa.com.au.
Wonderful. Well, we'll have you on the couch very soon, I'm sure.
Good. Let's do some sustainability.
Excellent. And hope to be at the expo to see what it's all about.
Yeah, come along. It'll be great.
Thank you, Cheryl.
Thanks.
Okay, so if you missed any of that, as usual, you can go to thecouch.com.au, our Facebook page. But for now, it's back to you, Fred.
Thank you, Nisha. Thanks to Cheryl as well. I'm a diabetic and I know what she was saying is very important. That is it for the show today. I get people skipping in front of me telling me they keep going, but we've got to wind it up. We've run out of time. Thank you for watching. Caitlin Steele is coming up performing for you. We'll see you next week. Have a wonderful week, Australia. Bye.
Don't tell me not to live, just sit and putter. Life's candy and the sun's a ball of butter. Don't bring around a cloud to rain on my parade. Don't tell me not to fly, I've simply got to. If someone takes a spill, it's me and not you. Who told you you're allowed to rain on my parade? I'm watching my bed now. I'll be later up. And if I'm in now, you'll turn it back, sir. I guess it didn't fake it hot, sir. I guess it didn't make it, but whether I'm a rose of sheer perfection, a freckle on the nose of life's complexion, or whether I'm the shiny apple of his eye, I gotta fly once, I gotta try once, only 'cause I once, right, sir? Oh, life is juicy, I gotta have my bite, sir. Get ready for me, love, 'cause I'm a comer. I simply gotta march, my heart's a drama. Who told you you're allowed to rain on my parade? I'm gonna live and live now. Get what I want, I know how. I own the big whole shebang. One shot, that bell will go click. I own the target and whip. One shot, one gunshot, and bam! Hey, Mr. Ornstein, here I am. I imagine my baby. didn't make it. Get ready for me, love, 'cause I'm not coming. And they got a march behind the drummer. No, nobody, no, nobody is gonna rain on
This episode of The Couch is proudly supported by Crown and Andrews Board Games. Fun for the whole family. And Scoot Airlines. Get out of here with Scoot.